Is your dog truly happy? Despite the general perception of dogs as very happy-go-lucky, studies suggest that as many as 74% of dogs may show signs of sadness and anxiety. But because of dogs' general easygoing predisposition and desire to please us, it can be really hard to figure out if your pup is as happy as they can be. In this video, we're going to look at 11 things that you can do at home to help your dog feel happy. Trust us, your dog will be very grateful to you. But before we dive in, why not subscribe and join our canine loving community for more tips and tricks on how to care for your dog. Tip number 1. If bad weather is keeping you and your pup inside, then why don't you use the time you spend waiting for the rain to stop to set up a fun treasure hunt? Simply take some treats and scatter them around the room in various hiding places, then unleash the beast and see how long it takes for your pup to find them all. Your dog will appreciate the chance to put their sensitive sniffer to good use, and you can have fun watching your friend ferret out all the treats. Tip number 2. There's nothing better than watching your pal go crazy over a new toy. But unfortunately, new toys don't grow on trees. Well, unless we're talking about sticks. You can't necessarily afford to buy your pup a new toy every week, but the good news is you don't have to. If you remove some of the toys they already have, perhaps a few that they haven't been playing with as much, and replace them a couple of weeks later, your dog will react as if they've been given a brand new toy. If you do this on a regular basis, swapping out some toys and putting back others, then your pup will be like a kid in a candy store. Tip number 3. Looking into a dog's big brown eyes is enough to melt even the stoniest heart. 5 seconds after meeting their gaze, and you're already determined to do whatever it takes to keep your furry friend happy. Well, good news, you don't have to do anything more than what you're already doing. Dogs stare at us as a way of showing affection. Essentially, your dog just said, "I love you," and by meeting their gaze and looking into their eyes, you just said, "I love you too." Tip number 4. You might have heard that it's a bad idea to let your dog sleep in your bed at night, that it will make them less obedient or more prone to separation anxiety. The good news is, this is largely a myth. Letting your dog share your bed will not cause them, or your relationship with them, any significant damage. In fact, it might improve things. Your dog wants to sleep in your bed because it makes them feel safe. They sleep better if they know that you are there to protect them, and they enjoy spending the time with you. Letting your pooch snuggle up with you at night is a great way to make every bedtime better. Tip number 5. Everyone gets stinky feet at least sometimes, and 10 to 15% of adults suffer from conditions that make theirs smellier than average. If smelly feet are a regular problem for you, then you might be pleased to learn that there's at least one person in your life who'll be pleased about it. To your dog, the stronger your feet smell, the more appealing it is to smell them. Smelly, sweaty feet smell like pheromones, which for your dog can provide all kinds of information, such as your health and emotional state. The salt of your sweat is also something they like. Disgustingly enough, many dogs enjoy licking the sweat off of their humans' feet. Tip number 6. What kind of music do dogs like? Paw-pee, rough and roll? Anything so long as it's played on the saxophone? None of the above. It's actually classical. Studies have shown that while loud music with a heavy beat like rock and hip-hop tend to increase agitation in dogs, they will often calm down if played classical music like Bach or Mozart, or possibly Bach and Mozart. If your pup tends to get upset when you leave them alone in the house, then you could try turning the radio over to a soothing classical station and letting it play. You may find that you come home to a much calmer canine. Tip number 7. Obviously, you and your dog are best friends, but that doesn't mean you have to be each other's only friend. Just like you, hopefully, have other humans you like to hang out with, your dog would probably like it if they had more chances to hang out with other dogs. One easy way to arrange this is to take your pup to a dog park or doggy daycare so that they have the chance to hang out with others of their own kind. But if you don't have any places like that nearby, or if your dog doesn't do well in crowded places, then you can always arrange a more private play date with a friend's dog. There are even some apps that you can use to find other dog owners in your area whose pooches are looking for new friends. Tip number 8. You might assume that training your dog is more for your benefit than theirs. Sure, they get treats and praise out of it. But that's the only reason they're putting up with the whole thing, right? If left to their own devices, surely they wouldn't bother with all this sitting, speaking, and rolling over business. Well, although the specific behaviors you train into your dog are generally more for your benefit, the act of training them is a positive for the both of you. Remember, most breeds of dog were originally intended to do jobs for humans. Many more active breeds, such as border collies or kelpies, actively need some form of job in order to feel happy. If your pup seems restless or bored, try spending some time teaching them a new trick. For bonus points, you can even use this as a way to get your pooch to help you around the house, by training them to put their toys away or fetch you things from around the house. Tip number 9. We all understand that we can't let our dogs run our lives for us. You'd end up spending all your salary on rawhide and banning the mailman from your property. But that doesn't mean that we can't give our dogs any power. As they're human, you control almost every aspect of your pup's life. You decide what they eat, where they go, who they interact with. Dogs may be loyal, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't appreciate a bit of agency every now and then. Letting your dog make some simple decisions about their day, such as which toy the two of you play with today, or which direction you go in during their daily walk, can help them feel more in control of their own destiny and cut down on the frustration that can arise from human micromanaging. Tip number 10. If you took swimming lessons as a kid, then you probably have experience with the doggy paddle. It's the first stroke that most people learn, and you probably won't be surprised to learn that it's so named because it's also the stroke most favored by our four-legged pals. Most dogs enjoy swimming, but some breeds, such as the Newfoundland, Otterhound, and Irish Water Spaniel, are especially at home in the water. If you live near a calm lake, a shallow stream, or even the ocean, then you can take your pup wild swimming. Just make sure that it's allowed first, and be sure and scout out the area to make sure your buddy won't be swimming somewhere with dangerous currents or floating garbage. However, if the idea of letting your fur baby swim in the wild makes you nervous, then you can also dig out your kid's old kiddie pool for a safer alternative. Tip number 11. All dogs love being pet, but if you want to step your petting sessions up a notch, then there are a few specific areas that you can target. The most prime petting spots on your pup tend to be the parts of their body where they have a high concentration of nerve endings, such as behind their ears and at the base of their tail. If you really feel like spoiling your dog, why not try giving them a relaxing massage? Start with a normal petting session to encourage your dog to relax, then start making gentle circular motions with your fingertips along your dog's body, starting with their neck, moving down to their shoulders, along their back, and finally to the base of their tail. Chances are, you'll find the experience almost as relaxing as your dog does. For more insight into the mind of your mutt, check out this video on what it means when your dog bites you on the hand,